Welcome back everyone. How many of you guys keep a diary? I think it's a great thing to do. It helps keep your thoughts organized and it's really fun to look back on in the years later. Sometimes though, diaries can capture some very creepy or dark moments in people's lives. Sometimes a scary thing happened to them, other times they're the ones who actually caused it. Let's turn the pages and take a look inside these famous diaries to see what secrets we can find. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary diary entries. Starting off at number 10 now, we have Pearl Mower. On the morning of November 17th, 2015, 17-year-old Pearl watched a couple enjoy the last minutes of their date on a bench outside their apartment. When the man ran upstairs to go to the bathroom, the woman dozed off in the morning light. That's when Pearl struck. She burst out from the bushes and stabbed the woman 21 times, leaving her to bleed out. She then went home that day and wrote in her diary, saying, "So, okay, I'll start with the exciting bit. I stabbed an innocent woman to death earlier today, technically yesterday since it's 1 AM. It was absolutely fantastic. Murder gives me a high unlike any other. It feels like this crisp unreality, flashing and sparkling, adrenaline and shock, fight or flight mode. How do I even go about describing it? The whole thing was unreal. I'm so proud of myself. I stabbed her like 20 times, maybe more, I wasn't counting. She screamed and grabbed at me saying, 'What the f***? Help, leave.'" Very disturbing stuff, but what Pearl didn't know was that her victim actually survived the attack and eventually testified against her. She is currently in prison serving a 15-year jail sentence. Moving on now to number 9, we have Theodore Roosevelt. On February 14, 1884, former US President Theodore Roosevelt received the shocking news that both his mother and wife had died within hours of one another in the family home in New York City. His mother had died from typhus while his wife Alice had died giving birth. He was so overcome with grief that he simply wrote an X on the page above one striking sentence: "The light has gone out of my life." Moving on now to number 8, we have Alyssa Bustamante. On October 21st, 2009, at the age of 15, Alyssa took her 9-year-old neighbor Elizabeth out into the woods. She strangled her, she cut her throat, and she then buried the body in the ground. She was eventually caught and charged and given 35 years in prison. It was a crime that shocked America. During the trial, prosecutors referred to her diary from that day. It read, "I just killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat and stabbed them. Now they're dead. I don't know how to feel at the moment. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the 'oh my god, I can't do this' feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kinda nervous and shaky though right now. K, I gotta go to church now. Lol." I don't even know what to say there. If that's not the signs of a seriously disturbed individual, I don't know what is. Coming at number 7 now, we have the Kamikaze Pilot. Bit of a different one here to the rest of the entries we've talked about. This one was written by a Japanese kamikaze pilot in World War II. They were told to fly their plane straight into American ships in order to cause maximum damage. It was a desperate attempt in a war that Japan was starting to lose, and the pilots knew it was suicide. Many people think they did it willingly or that they had been brainwashed by the emperor. That might be true for a lot of them, but this diary entry paints a different picture. It reads, "To be honest, I cannot say that the wish to die for the emperor is genuine, coming from my heart. However, it is decided for me that I die for the emperor. I shall not be afraid of the moment of my death, but I am afraid of how the fear of death will perturb my life. Even for a short life, there are many memories. For someone who had a good life, it is very difficult to part with it. As I reach a point of no return, I must plunge into an enemy vessel. As a preparation for the takeoff nears, I feel a heavy pressure on me. I don't think I can stare at death. I tried my best to escape in vain, so now that I don't have a choice, I must go valiantly." Moving on now to number 6, we have Dylan Klebold. He was one half of the duo responsible for the Columbine massacre in 1999, in which the pair shot and killed 13 students and teachers at Columbine High School in Colorado. They killed themselves before they could be caught. Police found Dylan's diary, which explained the plan for the shooting in detail. It reads, "Walk in, set bombs at 11:09 for 11:17, leave, set car bombs, drive to Clementine Park, gear up, get back by 11:15, park cars, set bombs for 11:18, get out, go to outside hill, wait." Soon after that plan was carried out, one of the deadliest high school shootings in the US took place. Moving on now to number 5, we have Zygmunt Clawkowski. He was a doctor in a small town in Poland who kept a journal about when the Nazis invaded and began making preparations for the Holocaust, which would end up killing around 6 million Jewish people. Zygmunt wrote in his diary one day, "All Jews will be shot. Between 400 and 500 have been killed. Poles were forced to begin digging graves in the Jewish cemetery. From information I received, approximately 2,000 2,000 people are in hiding. The arrested Jews were loaded into a train at the railroad station to be moved to an unknown location. It was a very terrifying day. I cannot describe everything that took place. You cannot imagine the barbarism of the Germans. I am completely broken and cannot seem to find myself. Really disturbing stuff. It's one thing just hearing the numbers of how many people the Nazis killed. It's another hearing an actual first-person account of it happening. Moving on now to number 4, we have Kathleen Fall. This Australian woman is famous in that country for the murder of her children during the 1990s. During that decade, her children kept dying in what was often described as just crib death. That seemed to be the official consensus until her husband came across her diaries. To his horror, he found out that she had actually been the one who killed them. One day she wrote, "My guilt of how responsible I feel for them all haunts me. My fear of it happening again haunts me. I'm ready this time, and I know I'll have help and support this time. When I think I'm going to lose control like last time, I'll just hand my baby over to someone else." One time she even wrote in her diary, "Obviously I am my father's daughter." Her father was convicted and sent to jail years before for the murder of her mother. She is currently serving a 40-year sentence. Next up at number 3 now, we have Eric Harris. We're returning to the Columbine school massacre now to look at the diary of the other perpetrator, Eric Harris. His diary was the disturbing tale of a guy who felt like the world was against him, that he was unwanted in the world and shunned by all around him. Eventually, these feelings of displacement led him to kill his own schoolmates. The final entry is perhaps the most disturbing of all. It read, "I hate you people for leaving me out of so many fun things. And no, don't say that, well, that's your fault, because it isn't. You people have my phone number and I asked and all, but no. Don't let the weird looking Eric kid come along. Oh, no." Moving on to number 2 now, we have Robert Scott. Some of you may know who he is if I tell you that his nickname is often Scott of the Antarctic, after the film that was made about his ill-fated trip to the Antarctic. His first one went fine, but his second saw him and his team get pinned down in gale-force winds on their way back from the South Pole. In his diary one day, Scott wrote, "Since the 21st, we have had a continuous gale from west, southwest, and southwest. We had fuel to make 2 cups of tea apiece and bare food for 2 days on the 20th. Every day we have been ready to start for our depot 11 miles away, but outside the door of the tent it remains a scene of whirling drift. I do not think we can hope for any better things now. We shall stick it out to the end, but we are getting weaker, of course, and the end cannot be far." This was one of the final diary entries he ever wrote. It's thought that he and the others died just a few days later, on March 29th, 1912. His body was discovered in the ice 8 months later. And finally, number 1 now, we have Jason Macy. In 1993, at the age of 20, Jason Macy killed 2 teenagers in Texas, a 14-year-old boy and his 13-year-old stepsister. He received the death penalty for these crimes. Officials found his diaries from before the murders took place, and they were disturbing. He wrote about wanting to be a famous serial killer one day, and also his necrophilic fantasies. He once described killing a girl's dog and then smearing the blood on her car. One of the most chilling lines simply read, "My goal is 700 people in 20 years. He was executed via lethal injection in 2001. Alright guys, that was all very intense. Let me know what you thought about it. Let's maybe wind down a bit now with some of your comments from a previous video. These ones come from Real Devil Encounters. We had a few jokers there. Daniel Murillo said, "I've seen the devil before as well. When you're Latino and accidentally cuss at your mom, you'll see the devil then, my friend." Very good. Snailsy also said, "This list is wrong. I can't find my ex." Yes, very good. I get it. I was honestly starting to wonder if anyone had any serious experiences, and then I saw this one from Andy Muhlstein. She said, "My sister's ex-boyfriend did devil worship in our basement. We had plenty of encounters with demons in her house, including one that I named Greg, that would stalk you down the hallway and fill you with incredible amounts of dread. And he would also leave handprints on our bathroom mirror when it got steamy, but the fingers were abnormally long." Okay, yeah, that will do. That's creepy. I did ask for a serious one, and now I'm kind of regretting it. That was pretty creepy. Shall we do a part 2 of that video, guys? Or should we do more kind of diary entry ones like this video was? So many options to choose from. Until then, thanks for watching as always. My name is Danny Burke, and I will see you all in the next one.